A very good morning and a warm welcome to one and all present over here. I hope everyone is able to see me and hear me clearly, teachers. Apologies for the internet connectivity. I think there could be a certain lag. If there is anything, please put it on the chat. Or else, if you're able to hear me clearly, then that's great. So, a very happy new year to one and all present over here. Welcome to the first Super Sunday workshop on 2024. And really happy to be associated with around 350 people plus around 400 people on YouTube. Thank you so much. Shows a lot of participation and also shows that comparatively the teachers are little, free by completing the portions, or at least some of you must be under the pressure of completing the portion because the pre-boards have already started. Year on year, CPSE has been, preponing the dates of board exams. I think you would have seen that over the last 2, 3 years consecutively. There's a lot of changes happening, and even now there's a preponement. And I think the recently new date sheet also got released. Well, irrespective of the academic work that you have, January itself gives like a sense of completion of an academic year. It's like we're just completing things right now, and most of the schools would have already planned what to be done in the upcoming academic year. Annual pedagogical plan will generally start right during the exams or right after that when the vacations begin. I think most of the principals out there and the teachers out there must be, if not at least must be preparing on that. At least the mindset will already be there, and that's a vicious cycle of a teacher continuing to work the way they work all the time. Anyways, today's topic is going to be quite important considering some of the messages that I received from some of you. Some of you had even messaged on the reflection forms during the cybersecurity days, mentioning that you lost around 10,000 rupees. Some of you had lost around 25,000 rupees. And I don't really want to name some of you, but that's completely fine. And keeping that in mind, and surprisingly, by the time you were messaging Super Teacher and me, I was surprised to see that there was a session happening on online financial security by Central Institute of Educational Training. So Education and Training, CIET. They were conducting this 5-day training program just like all the time. You just undergo the training, and right after completion of their assessments, if you score more than 70%, I think they issue the certificate as well. The Google form is released. So most of the information that we're going to discuss today on this particular platform with this session is going to be inspired from there. And of course, I'll have my own research sprinkled around during the session as much as possible. It really is very important for the teachers to go back and check the authenticity of any information being shared online. It could be related to cyber safety and security, or it could be related to good practices online, or it could be related to some of the rules that you would have never heard about. For example, do this in order to have a secure transaction. In order to check if that particular rule is also applicable or not, you need to do a little bit of research. So it's really important that in the era of too much of information, in the era of easy access to knowledge, it's more important to have the skill to judge if the acquired knowledge is authentic or not. Yeah, today the chase is about authenticity. Well, let's get into the topic today. It's about online financial literacy and security. We'll be trying to understand some terminologies. We'll be trying to understand how these transactions happen. Some important, uh, updates are like online currencies. We came to know about the cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum's, and things like that. What exactly these things are? If I'm getting scammed, how am I getting scammed? So the more we know about it, the better is the alertness and things like that. Let me quickly share my screen and ask you a question. And for that, I think you should be able to see the screen in a few seconds. Here we are. So online financial literacy and security teachers. Here we go. So the first one is I wanted to ask you. There are some pictures that you can see online. I think you can see that you can see that it's written as 2 rupees and it's written as Reserve Bank of India, and then again 5, 10, 20, 50, 100, 200, 500, and 2000. My question over here to all of you is, whatever you're looking at, is that a real currency or a fake currency? There's no rocket science over here. We'll just trying to ask a simple question and try to understand if this is a real currency or a fake currency. You can just put it real or fake, and you can type it on the chat. Come on, go ahead. Okay, Wasim sir says it's real. Some people say fake. Many people say fake. Okay, almost everyone says okay. It's quite easily identifiable, right? It's fake. Okay, it's fake. It's fake. Okay, it's fake. Of course, the picture that I have put over here is more like a representation, and can be called as fake. Okay, Tina ma'am, Hema ma'am, these are stamps. Okay, that's great. Okay, that's interesting. Stamps. These are stamps. That's quite a good guess out there. Manju ma'am also says, Kulvinder ma'am also says fake. Come on, teachers. Out of 400 people, it's fake. Everyone is okay. Okay, you're all in for a surprise, teachers. These are actually not fake. Radha ma'am is absolutely right. R for Radha and R for real. Yes, this is completely real. Yeah. These are real e-rupee currencies. Yeah, for the first time in India, India came up with this concept of e-rupee, digital currency. And you can see that यहाँ पे the major changes, Mahatma Gandhi ji का picture नहीं है. Can you see that? No, that's not there. And these are real. So when you look into Digital India as an initiative, when you look into the vision of digital currency, we're already there. We are already there. I mean, you can see that you can have these currencies for transactions. You can buy them and you keep it online, and you can keep it on a concept called as e-wallet. What exactly is e-wallet? What are the security features of e-wallet? How e-wallet could be used? Is e-wallet same as UPI transactions? A lot of things will be there, and these things will be demystified in our upcoming sessions as well. But the point here is, whatever you're looking at, these are real in the sense, I've just got the screenshot of these and I've put it here in the presentation. But these exist in the platforms, of course, in government platforms, and these are recognized by Reserve Bank of India. So that's the first myth that I would like to break over here, that there is an existence of e-rupee. I'm talking from Indian context. Yes, there are many countries coming up with their own currency system, which has got digital and offline mode of transactions. यहाँ पर भी है. But in case of UPI payment, or in case of any online transaction, internet banking, you're actually not using e-rupee. You're actually transferring your physical money. Literally, it's like the moment you say that this money is deposited to so and so account, like an actual note, literally, which is present physically in your account, is taken from there and put on the other person's account. So that's the physical transaction. But an online transaction, where this thing is there, there's a drastic change. Gandhiji should be there, not there. That's a different thing. Or some other leader could be there, not there. But anyways, e-rupee has got its own protocols. E-rupee has got its own, security features, which we will discuss probably in the next Sunday. But this is the first myth that I wanted to break you. Now, there was a recent incident that you can see here online. Manju ma'am will talk about its significance to a large extent. It's heavily secure. We'll talk about it. Now, there was a recent information on 25 plates of samosas cost Mumbai doctor rupees 1.4 lakh in cyber scam. This was actually in the month of July, actually, and 2023. But the case got closed just now, very recently, and they were able to figure out who was the scammer and how the money got. But the doctor never got the money back, and this doctor was working at KEM Hospital. Imagine a doctor who's well-educated personality in the society was scammed and cyber scam. There are multiple other news as well that you would have heard about, like some of the people actually. So sometimes when you order something, and when the respective e-commerce website delivers something to you other than whatever you ordered. Just for example, Sukhdira ma'am ordered iPhone, and she got two beetroots or three bananas or four apples or something like that. This has happened. In fact, some people even received some stones. These are some of the common incidents that has occurred online, and people go crazy about it, like it's very unsecure, insecure, you're not supposed to use online. But end of the day, it's about a thief having really good tactics and good grip on the computer system, who's able to hack and be an interrupt in the whole transaction and come up with his own fraud. So that's somewhere intellectuality getting appreciated, but at the same time, not knowing how these things happen is also somewhere a fault from our side to understand, like, why these things are happening. For example, one of the women actually lost 3 lakh rupees trying to buy dry fruits online. So it was not an official website. She never checked on the website if this website was real or not. She just got an advertisement from so and so website. Just click on this link and you can buy dry fruits. It's a cost of what, 10 rupees per kilo or something. The news is elaborate. Similarly, another important scam that happens online with respect to job market. It's like pay 3,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees. I'll get you into the best school in the world. I'll get you into the best school in and you'll get the salary of around 2 lakhs or 2.5 lakhs. You can become a principal of one of the schools karke. I do not know if anybody has fallen prey to it, or if anybody has got a call like that. If you've got a call like that, you can just please put it on the chat or at least a message. But these are some of the common scams that are happening around. Now when I say common scams, approximately there are more than 8,000 scams happening every minute in India. I'll repeat it, happening every minute in India, around 8,000 scams. There are some reports actually, spoken by it. Now, for example, one of the reports again, which states that in quarter three 2022, it's an old report, but I wanted to be really authentic and I got this from government website. Hence, I'm putting it over here. Payment modes like UPI, debit and credit cards, prepaid payment instruments, mobile wallets, etc. It occurred like nearly 23 billion transaction worth 38.32 trillion. So you can see that 42% of the transaction happened on UPI. 42%. Now, there is the concept of P2M and P2P. So 43 plus 42, if you see, nearly 85% of the transaction happened on UPI. So how many of you have UPI apps? I do not know. I mean, it could be, how many apps do you have? You can put it on the chat. I have Google Pay and I have Paytm. I don't have anything else. I do not know. Somehow Amazon Pay automatically got activated. I never did that, but it is activated, but I'm never using it. How many you have? Some people have only GPay. Some people have two. Some people have three. Some people have 10. Oh, you had Paytm. You have only three. Okay, four, five. Okay. सच्चाई ये कि we typically, I mean, at least in my case, we have a balance of not more than 10,000 or 12,000 rupees, but you'll have tens and thousands of UPI transaction apps. Just like it's the credit card. You just open a wallet, and you'll see that at least 10 credit cards are there, and balance is like hardly anything. It's zero, in fact, some of the cases. So when we talk about transactions, and when we talk about QR codes, when we talk about credit card, debit card, we need to remember only one thing. End of the day, it's like we have got only one account where the money is kept. That's it. That one account access, just imagine if you're having three apps or five apps, just include the debit and credit cards as well. If you include everything, just to access that sum of 100 rupees from your one account, you are opening at least 10 to 12 doors of transaction. I hope you're able to understand. It is like giving 10 keys or 10 locker keys to 10 strangers out there. They say that yes, we have our own locking system, we've got our own passwords, ye wo, but do we really need to do that? Think about it. So that's one important question that was raised in the CIT training, where CDAC was an organization which was actually conducting this training. We'll talk about that as well. So end of the day, it's about one account getting accessed by at least 10 to 12 modes of transaction. So it's really important to understand P2P transaction, P2M transaction, UPI, cryptocurrencies, all these will be dealt in detail in the next session in the part two. Right now, let us understand the basics first and then get on with the other things. So deliberately, I wanted to put this slide over here. Now, what are some of the common mistakes that we commit? And based on this, the whole session will be running. So, the most common mistake that a general audience would do is whenever we have any banking transaction online, we have multiple platforms, of course, credit, debit card, and internet banking, then mobile banking, then e-wallet, UPIs. Then UPIs will be subjected with Paytm or Google Pay or Phone Pay, multiple transactions. So, when you look into this, we all might have a common password. Okay, this is my 4-digit pin for my ATM card. This is my 4-digit pin, same pin for credit card. Same is for the credit card number two. Same is for my GPay, Paytm. In case if you are having the same passwords, it high time that you have to change it right now. So because it seems that guessing a password opens the door for almost all the transactions. If you have one password getting leaked, the hackers can easily decode the passwords for your Gmail account, your bank transaction account. It could be anything. So it's very important for an individual to make sure that that you have got individual passwords. Now you must be saying that we have got at least 20 25 accounts across. I mean, just not Gmail account, it could be an account on some other app as well. How can we remember all these things? It's really important to remember. It's really important to remember. So in order to remember, people actually keep a note of it in the diary. Make sure if the diary is secure in your home, that's great. Or else there are some methods like digilockers where you can actually save information online. It's really unsafe to type the password on the computer in sticky notes and keep it on the desktop. Is there anyone out there who has this habit of having sticky notes, something like this? I think you're able to see this, something like this. No, you're not supposed to use this. And if you are using it, it's very important to make sure that it's closed all the time. If you have sticky notes and if you have just to-do list present over there, that's great, but don't save passwords over there. Another important problem that, based on the observation of these scams, it was found that most of the devices are unlocked. Many teachers out there have this habit of just closing on with the laptop, just close it without shutting it down properly, or closing the browser without logging out properly. Or sometimes in your mobile phone you just do a transaction, you just lock the phone and keep it without even coming out of the screen. These are some of the places where we miss out on, or we pave the way for the scammers or hackers to easily hack our system. So for example, in case of mobile phones, you know that, or even on the websites, sometimes when you do not continuously work on a particular page of a particular website, it'll automatically get deactivated. It'll say that there was no transaction happening for the last 3 minutes continuously. Hence, you need to re-log in. Now, that's an added security feature by the bank. That's not, it's more like an ehsan. It's more like a consideration that the bank has done towards us. Doesn't mean that we utilize that. It's important for us to log out. So leaving devices unlocked is another common mistake because of which scamming has been happening. The third point is ignoring software updates. Sometimes people say that the more I had that update, the more I keep on updating, my phone actually becomes slow. Well, that's not a problem if you update, and if the phone is becoming slow, that's okay. I think buying a better phone is ideally the choice rather than not updating the software, because it seems that whenever there is a hacker coming and breaking one code, that means finding a method to hack a system, immediately the company that knows that this person figured out a method to break in, they will try to create another security feature and put that as an update to all the phones. Now, if you don't update that, you're always vulnerable to these attacks. So it's important for you to update the phones regularly. Sometimes some phones actually you keep auto update off, which is actually a wrong thing. You can actually go to the settings and click on about phone and click on system update and security updates. Keep tapping on it, you'll be able to see the latest updates. If it's updated, that's great. If not, high time you update it right now. And just from a personal point of suggestion, in case if you're using a mobile phone that's 3 years old, it's ideal to change the phone. 3 years is an approximate time that uh, I can say right now, considering the security features of Android. I'm talking about Android basically. It's important, like if you can change your phone, if your phone is having the updates for next 5 years. There are some phones which has this feature of getting updated every month or every 2 months, until 5 years, then you don't have to change the phone. But most of these phones will receive their updates only for 3 years or maximum 4 years. So know which company you have, what model you have. Based on that, for example, Google Pixel has got regular updates at least until 4 or 5 years. So changing the phone doesn't make sense, it's completely fine. But if your updates are getting stopped, it's better to change the phones. The fourth point is clicking on unknown links. This is the most common, and most of you know that. It adds on to e-waste. Yes, I can't deny that. I can't deny that, Monisha ma'am. But yeah, then buy an iPhone. I think that lasts for around 6 7 years with updates. So yeah, okay, I do this mistake updating. See, ma'am, you should update it. Okay, so when you look into unknown links, that is another major, problem. See, there is this thing about sometimes when you have to do a Paytm or Google Pay transaction, the shop will send you the link. You click on that, and then automatically that particular amount gets displayed over there, and you pay that. Now, this is very safe only when you're there in the shop opposite to the person where the transaction is happening. not over a call. I repeat it. Sometimes when you have to pay for the purchase that you have done, uh, the shop or the the place where you're actually shopping, they will give you a link. The moment you click on that link, it will open Paytm or Google Pay for the transaction to happen. But this should happen, and you should click on the link only when the person who's transacting this is right in front of you, not over a call. So in case next time if somebody's saying that, ma'am, please click on this link, you'll get to do the payment and you can finish the transaction. If you're really trusting someone and if they're sending the link, that's great. But if it is not, then don't do it. These days there's another scam also happening. It's like, I think we spoke about it. Somebody of your relation, for example, Vasuki ma'am will get a call from one of her relatives stating that, hello Vasuki, could you please do me a favor? I'm stuck in some place and I lost my wallet. I need just 3,000 rupees for getting a cab to come to home. Immediately please send this amount to so and so number. My phone is switched off. Now this particular voice will be exactly the voice of the relative, but you might think that it's actually the relative, but it's not the case. Now voice.ai is the app where it actually uh, you know uh, creates this problem. I mean, anybody can have anybody else's voice. You don't need a mimicry artist for that. You already have the software. So in case if your relatives are calling you and asking you for a link or payment money transactions, please do not do that. You tell them, even if you die, I don't care, it's okay, you come back home whenever you want to, or you don't come back, and you'll see that the scammers will also get. Now the difficult part is, what if that's really your relative? Now I do not know. I would like to leave that to your discussion and speculation, but yeah, that should not be the case. Now connecting unsafe devices to office network is again another important point. Now whenever you're there in so there are some devices actually. I think you know that. Uh, have you heard about the Chromecast, a casting device in which you can cast everything off your mobile phone to the computer? That's a device. There are some routers, routers, which can increase the speed of internet. That's another device. There are some, media players. You have just to watch the movies like Prime Video Killer, you'll have a separate. Kindle is another device. There is this device of gaming consoles. So there are multiple devices that are available in the market, which can which can be easily hacked. So what people do is they use, typically one of the most common devices from where the virus actually comes is the pen drive. So it's most of the office have this policy of deactivated pen drive. I think even in your schools you will have it, right? You cannot use a pen drive to have the transactions. It's like uh, you really feel bad about it, but yes. So this particular thing that you're talking about, the pen drive or any device for that matter, is not supposed to be used anywhere. If you're having a pen drive, just make sure that you're using only with trusted people, and make sure the pen drive has got the antivirus with which your data is always safe. But here we are not talking about the data. We are talking about online transactions. There are some pen drives which are called as the security keys. Now, DSCs, digital signature certificates. The moment you put the pen drive, only then your online transaction will happen. I think you would have seen all these things in the movies. So, like these digital signature certificates, DSCs, which are called as, are really important to have. Everyone can possess that. Some of you might know about it, some of you might not. So, make sure that whenever you have any online transaction, or suppose if you're living in a place where you have to use a public Wi-Fi, DSCs actually come very handy. So that also has got a lot of security features, which comes to the next point: using public Wi-Fi without a VPN connection. You know that in India, the moment Digital India campaign launched by Shri Narendra Modi ji, one of the important update was Ministry of Education, sorry, Government of India collaborating with Google to have rail Wi-Fi. Do you know this, by the way? Put it on the chat. Rail Wi-Fi, RAIL, rail Wi-Fi. So in all the railway stations in India, you will have free Wi-Fi. Forget about airport. I'm talking about railway networks. So whenever you go to any railway station, you will be able to see rail wire in collaboration with Google. I think you would have seen that. I'm not sure how many of you have done that. At least in major junctions, it will be present. Um, I've used it multiple times. Now that particular rail wire Wi-Fi is a public Wi-Fi. Yeah. In case of airport, respective private organization of that particular airport have also got their own thing, but I would anytime prefer to have something which is government authenticated. and railway stations, whatever they have, it's really good. But there also, even if it is an authenticated and genuine source of internet, it's important for you to use another important concept called as VPN, virtual proxy network. Now VPN is, or virtual private network, so sometimes it's called as proxy private, but depending on, so VPN is not a illegal thing, it's not bad. People generally think that, oh yeah, VPN use kar raha hai, using VPN is able to access the content. No, it's not bad. It's sometimes very useful. In fact, whenever you're there in public places, in order to avoid your private information to get leaked in those Wi-Fi portals, it's better to use VPN. There are a lot of VPN platforms that are present out there, which you could download on your mobile phone and just keep it activated. That's it. That will take care of things. And using VPN, whenever you do any transaction, it could be online money transaction or even a message, uh, you don't really have to be worried about your identity. So there needs to be a body which monitors this, but at the same time, most of the crimes actually happen using VPN. So in order to avoid those crime, or you being a victim of those crime, you also need to use VPN. I hope you got the point. It is like going and telling the criminal that I am one of you. It's like that. It's just faking it up, something like that. So VPN is important. Let's learn about VPN a little deeper in another session. It'll actually divert the direction. But anyways, another is saving sensitive data on your device is again not really advisable. Back in those days, my father used to advise me to write diaries. I think that is exactly the advice that's written in point number 7. Saving sensitive data on your device is not advisable actually. But yeah, pen and diary is again a very good way, but as far as it is secure, downloading unauthorized software is another major problem where hacking can easily happen. Though it is more of a cybersecurity thing for anything, but even for banking transaction, never install a software. See, there was one very good initiative by HDFC Bank. They conducted a workshop and they showed five icons of HDFC Bank. And the people had to choose which is the most authentic by just looking at it. So, surprisingly, hardly 10% of the people were able to actually find the actual logo of HDFC. Rest, 20, I think 75% of the people or 80% of the people selected the wrong icon. They thought that to be the HDFC Bank. So, thinking that this is what is official with the looks of it is the biggest ignorance that we have towards online transactions. So it's important to make sure that to know what is that authentic software. Now for that there is a method to find it out. I will tell you right after this. Leaving sticky notes with password is something that we discussed right in the beginning. Making UPI payments without verifying the user account holder name is very very important, which is something we are not supposed to do. Whenever you are going and transacting any transactions, make sure you scan the QR code and ask what is a name that should be displayed on the QR code. Do not say the name. Is this right? No, don't say that. Ask what should be the name. The person who is giving you the QR code should be able to tell the name, and just try to verify that with the shop with one or two people, not only with one person. There has been major scam that's happening recently, especially in the street foods. But what people do is they actually remove the QR code of the actual person and put their QR code over there. Did you know? Did you understand? It's like I have a QR code which is linked to my bank. I go to say a vendor who's a pani puri guy. I mean, it's like Golgappa guy, and he is having this Google Pay ka QR code present over there. I notice him that he has kept it in front of that big, uh, you know, pack of puris, and he can't see it. So I just stand in front. I take that out and keep mine. He will never know. So whenever there is a transaction happening, and you always show the tick mark from a far distance, right? So he will never know, and most of the scams are happening. I do not know if you have come across such kind of a thing. So make sure that you avoid these scams by asking questions. Speak it out aloud, and that's the reason Paytm and Google Pay came up with this idea of having that speaker QR code. I think you know that the moment you do the 25 or 30 rupees ka transaction or 1,000 rupees ka transaction, it'll speak it out. It's the speech is actually from the mobile. So the mobile SMS is given an access to the device out there. So whenever there is an SMS received, it is actually spoken out, something like that. In fact, these days I think phone pay or somebody, I'm forgetting, they got Amitabh Bachchan ka voice. Is it phone pay or is it Google Pay? Amitabh Bachchan ka voice, right? Something like that. Yeah, phone pay. You're right, phone pay. And in fact, whenever there is a transaction happening, and if there is no voice coming, doesn't mean that the transaction did not happen. It has still happened. So yeah. So these are some of the common mistakes that I majorly wanted to discuss in today's session. And once you understand these mistakes, then it will be easy for us to correct our mistakes. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. This is quite a staggering statement. Now, this is by Stay Safe Online. It's a portal by Government of India where they came up with this uh, idea of educating people out there to avoid scams, hacking, falling prey or victims to all these transactions. So 70% of victims of financial fraud in India never get their money back, survey says. It's 70%. Remain like look at that. 39% of Indian families have already been victims of cyber fraud. Some of them they don't report these fraud because the transaction that has happened uh, did not happen for the right reasons. For example, you're using an online transaction for an illegal work or something that's not accepted in the society. For example, you're buying something that's not allowed in India, and you don't really want to reveal that, right? Because you're kind of embarrassed to speak about it. In fact, these days, even to buy a tablet or some sort of a medicine from medical store, people prefer to buy it online, and when they try to buy it online, uh, these are the places where the hackers and the scammers will be most present, especially in the areas where people feel embarrassed. And it's like easy deal, right? So they don't even reveal about it. So 39% of Indian families have already been victims of cyber fraud. Many have not even been recorded. Only 24% of families who claim to have experienced financial fraud in the last 3 years and receive their money back. Only 24%. See, there is a separate place in India which is very famous for such online transactions where the scamming and hacking happens. In fact, the whole city is actually called as the hackers hub. I don't want to really reveal the city name, but you don't also do it on the chat. Maybe you're right or wrong. And there's a movie also based on that. 23% of the victims of credit or debit card fraud. So this like regularly you get this call, Sahir ma'am. Yeah. So anytime you call, you get that scamming of like, do you want the debit card? It's a free credit card. You'll get to stay in the lounges and things like that. Don't buy that. That's okay. Don't get the credit cards. If you really want to get it, go to the bank of the place where you have your account and get it from there. Pay for the credit card and get it. Don't buy the free things. Buying or selling websites is another big scam that's happening around. Not many people will be aware of it if you're not into making websites. 13% were cheated by websites demanding money for things that were not delivered. Like sometimes you get the stone, sometimes you get the apples and beetroots and bananas. Whatever I'm saying, it's all happened. 30% of individuals surveyed had one family member who had experienced financial fraud, and 9% said that their family had experienced financial fraud. These are all very huge numbers. And look at this, 331 districts in India provided approximately 32,000 responses to the survey. So it's not a simple like only 500 people are chosen and got. 32,000 people have responded, and this is the number. Interesting, right? Let's look into it. So teachers, now I'm going to show you how to find out if that website is authentic or not. This is also from the NCRT training. Now for that, what you're supposed to do is you're looking at hdfcbank.com. It's one of the oh, that's great, Nisha ma'am. So here yahan pe you can see that the moment you go to a particular bank's website, you should be able to see https. I'll repeat it. https. I'm not getting into the technicalities of what is S and all, but as of now, please assume that S is very important. If at all there is a website where there is no S present, it will be written only http, then that's actually not secure. Now in order to find that out, the moment you click on the lock button over there, sometimes there'll be a lock button. Let me actually show this to you by doing this. I hope you are able to see the screen. Great. I hope everyone is able to see the screen of hdfcbank.com, and you can see that I'm there on this particular website. I'm pretty sure that it's a right website, so I directly go to login. But what if I'm not sure about it? If I'm not sure about it, I can just go to this particular place. Right now there is some sort of a view site information, some sort of a logo or icon present over there. Generally in your computers, if the Chrome is not updated, you'll find a lock. I'll show you the lock. It looks like this. So can you see this lock over here? Remember, this lock has to be closed. I mean, it has to be closed, not open. If it is open, that means it's not secure. If it is closed, that means it's secure. Did you know that? If you know that, then that's great. So here in this case, connection is secure. That's what they say. And if I have to click on that, you will also get to know if this website is valid or not by the certificate. So there is a statement written over here is called a certificate is valid. The moment I click on this, you'll be able to see that this common name is www.hdfc bank organization, but what you really need to check is the validity. Sometimes these websites are expired and it's like used by somebody else. You're not supposed to use those websites. So Yankee, you can see that the validity period is written as issued on March 23rd and expires on April 23rd 2024. So it is important for me to check on April 23rd if this website is still working or is it expired or is it renewed, things like that. So these are some of the code which they give for authentication, and you might not really require this, but whenever you're using any particular website, make sure you go to this particular area, check if the connection is secure. If you want to be even more sure about it, click on the security and click on the certificate. Once you are convinced yes, it's not expired, then you can continue using it. I hope you got the point of how this actually works. Now, this certificate is provided by for all the people who are creating a website. So this is one of the major things that you need to look out for. Similarly, for QR code also, there are certain measures with which you can find out if it's authentic or not. Let me show you something right now. This will be quite interesting. This is by Government of India for by Stay Safe Online website. Look at the way this functions. You'll really like this.
A fast-paced world, constantly adapting to new technologies. A world that has become a hyper-connected global village, where technology has connected every part of our lives to the internet. Technology that has brought our world together in a click has also unleashed the global menace of cybercrime. Today, with nearly the entire human race getting online, no one is entirely safe with insufficient awareness about cybersecurity. In the year of India's G20 presidency, India joins the world in the global effort to address the global need for cybersecurity awareness with the launch of the Stay Safe Online campaign. Stay Safe Online is a global campaign aimed at making netizens across the world more aware and vigilant when it comes to online safety. Whether using strong passwords, using OTP while accessing e-commerce sites, or not keeping sensitive data on portable devices, the Stay Safe Online campaign will empower netizens to stay secure against untoward incidents. Under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visionary leadership, India joined the global technology revolution's mainstream. Today, with India accounting for 40% of all real-time global online transactions, it is fast embracing technology as a way of life. Stay Safe Online campaign will enable and inform netizens to make the digital world cyber safe and cyber secure for all. Share your videos of safe online experiences with hashtag StaySafeOnline. Log on to www.mygov.in/StaySafeOnline to join the Stay Safe Online campaign.
So that this is how the website looks like. Actually, you'll be able to see the website. Yeah. So the moment I click on it, it actually takes us to the website. And whenever there is any transaction that's not appropriately happened, you can come over here and raise the complaint as well. At the same time, there are a lot of awareness materials that they've given over here. So most of these information that I'm speaking today is actually from here. So you've got cybersecurity tip of the day, awareness poster, painting posters, ABCs of cybersecurity, lot of parental guidance. We actually used parental guidance in October when we spoke about digital safety and security. So, well, this is more from cybersecurity perspective, just not on financial transactions, but also everything else which is associated with internet. So, this is a very good platform for you to actually, gain your information and knowledge on what exactly this cyber world is doing to us. Now, again, continuing this one more, yeah, it's the quickly what are the best practices for users to remain safe while using e-wallets. This is something I wanted to show you. This is again taken from the webinar of CIET. Credits to them. Enable passwords on devices. Yes, we know that. We have already been doing it. Make sure it is always password lock. There is something called as two-factor authentication, wherein you have to put the code two times, one to open the app and another to do the transaction. Ideally, if you can have two different passwords for login and transaction, it is great, but you can use one as well. But make sure you have got two stages of security. Well, that's the first one, enable passwords on device. Then there's something called as use secure network connections, install apps from trusted sources, keep login credentials secure. It's like all these things where we saw the don'ts, they're just trying to come up with do's. Create a unique password for digital wallet. Stay vigilant and aware of cell phones network connectivity status and register for alerts through SMS and emails. It is also important for you to know that you cannot have you know these days when you tap two phones, do you know that when you tap two phones the information gets passed? Make sure that do not touch your phone with anything else. In fact, even if your wallet is present and if you want to do the transaction, if you touch the wallet on a device, and if your credit card or debit card is wi-fi enabled, there are incidents where the money got transferred. So make sure there is a limit set onto these credit card. Like if you want to do it on wi-fi, over wi-fi, not more than 1,000 rupees could be done. Otherwise, always make sure it's like the insertion happens and then you type the password. So identify points of contact in case of fraudulent cases. But this is another thing that these days, whenever people start receiving money, it's like how you feel when you receive good amount of money from unknown sender. You think that, oh, somebody put the wrong password or the wrong phone number and I got the money, and sometimes you're happy about it. Please don't be. It's like chasing a bigger amount with your bank transaction. Some of you must be thinking that I don't really have to care about any of these things because I don't really have a big balance in my bank account. Most of it is there in my locker. That's also a good way. But there was one incident about money kept in the locker and the rat eating it completely. Did you know that? Read about it. I think it happened in Kerala, if I'm not wrong. Nearly 10 lakh rupees of amount was kept in the bank locker, the actual currency notes, and a rat actually ate it away. Some rodents, I guess. I mean, it's rat, I guess. I'm forgetting, but it ate away 10 lakh rupees, and the bank did not pay back the money. Why will they? Because according to the rules of locker, you're not supposed to keep the currency notes or the important documents like your gharka registration document and things like that. This is another bizarre incident that has happened. So yeah, so this is another it's like earn more, that is also difficult. Earn less, that is also difficult. Yeah. Now one final video to close the day, which will be more like a bridge for the next Super Sunday workshop, which is going to be on again online financial literacy and security. It's about cryptocurrencies. We'll also understand the UPI ka P2P and P2M models, PPI models and all. But this is really important. What is Bitcoin? People are earning like anything using Bitcoins and Ethereums, which are cryptocurrencies. Let's understand what this is in a very, very simple manner and with a very authenticated source, which is BBC News. Please watch this. You will love this.
When you want to buy something normally, using your normal bank card, this is what happens. I give my card details to the shop asks the bank if I'm good for the money. The bank checks its records to see if I've got enough in my account. If I do, it lets the shop know. It updates its records to show the movement of money from my account to the shop's. Oh, and it takes a little cut for its trouble. Now, if you wanted to remove the bank from that system, who else would you trust to keep those records and not alter them or cheat in any way? Well, I wouldn't trust you. I wouldn't trust you. In fact, I wouldn't trust any single person, but I might trust everyone. The idea is you don't have a central record of transactions. Instead, you distribute many, many copies of this ledger around the world. Each owner of each copy records every transaction. So, to buy something using cryptocurrency, I give the shop my details. The shop asks all the bookkeepers if I'm good for the money. The bookkeepers all check their records to see if I have enough. If I do, they tell the shop, and then all update their records to show the movement of money. So there's no way that a forged transaction can make it in. If I try to alter a ledger, it won't match all of the other copies, and it gets rejected. Oh, and one of them, at random, will be given a reward of some newly created cryptocurrency. This is how cryptocurrencies work. And remember, all of these bookkeepers, all of these ledgers, they're not actually people, they're computers. Lots of computers.
Well, that was the Bitcoin or the cryptocurrencies. I think you would have got a simple understanding of what cryptocurrencies is. It's like everybody knowing all the information. When everyone knows all the information, nobody can lie. It's like that. It's like universal truth. You have this much of money, something like that. Anyways, we'll talk about cryptocurrencies, bitcoins, and more online financial terms and terminologies. And I think one of the very useful and that at least a lot of knowledge that I gained from this YouTube channel was the labor law advisor, LLA. LLA is majorly actually a YouTube channel with Hindi speaking two people and run by these two gentlemen, and they do a very good job. I'm not trying to promote a YouTube channel over here, but a lot of good information. They're already there leaders in the market, and we don't really have to pay for any of their courses as such because their free videos itself give sufficient information. The day when you think that the free information is understood completely is probably the day when you can actually get into their paid training versions and all. But until that, the free information itself is like more than sufficient for us to have the knowledge. But Labor Law Advisor is a very good YouTube channel. I was planning to put it here on the chat, but it was actually not functioning. And probably in the next Sunday, when we get a chance, we'll try to do that. So that's it from my side, teachers, for today's understanding on online financial literacy and security. Up to a certain extent, you would have got an idea and got a base of what we're talking about. Now, when we get into the technical terms and how these transactions happen, it'll be easy for us to relate with what we have learned in the past. That's the reason we began with something very basic. I would request all the teachers out to, please go there to the CIET channel to find the that happened, I think, in the month of October or November, if I'm not wrong, and they did a good job. 5 days training program by CDAC. What is CDAC? We'll learn about that as well in the next session. CDAC was also an important organization playing a key role in virtual labs, the olabs.edu.in, if you know, where you can get to do all the virtual science experiments, social, English, all the subjects. In fact, I would request you to please try that. One of the days we'll have the session on virtual reality and augmented reality again, and probably at that particular time we'll learn about what CDAC is and the other aspect of it. Thank you so much, teachers. Great interacting with one and all. Finally, sun in Kolkata, giving us a little bit of warmth in the cold weather out there. I'll be traveling to multiple locations again till the month of March in search of schools who have not selected the computer science curriculum and to promote my books out there. In case if you would like to see, please do call us. My number is there on the reflection form. In case if you want the presentation that I'm making and if you want to share it with your school, you want to conduct a training program, please do contact us. I'll be there to support you. No, I'm not talking about any charges over there. As a friend, I'm here to support you as much as possible. But make sure you reach out to places and find information. uh, Super Sunday workshop is actually having the objective of educating the education fraternity people, and also providing exposure to what's happening in the world of education. That's the major reason for Super Sunday workshops to happen, in order to support this cause, in order to support this objective. Anything that you would like to come up with, I'm here to do it. One of the important topics that I need to check on and do is classroom management. If there are teachers and principals from St. Andrew School, I remember the suggestion that will quickly happen. I'm still in discussion with some people to properly gather the information of classroom management and then speak about it. Okay. Thank you so much, teachers. Let's talk again in the next Super Sunday workshop. Great interacting with one and all. And once again, happy new year to all the people out there. Once 50 Sundays get over, I think we are at 43rd, if I'm not wrong, 42nd or 43rd. Once it gets over, we'll look into the data sheet of the people who have been regular, the people who have attended more than 45 sessions or 40 sessions. I need to come up with a number. I still did not decide on that. We would like to recognize you really well in order to motivate the other educators to join the session, like more like ambassadors or pioneers of education, something like that. And make sure that the certification or whatever recognition we give is adding a lot of value to your career. We'll do that. Nisha ma'am, I hope you remember that. Sukhdeera ma'am, Piyali ma'am, everyone. Chalo. Thank you so much, teachers. Great interacting with one and all. I'll meet you again in the next Super Sunday workshop with the same topic, part 2. Until then, Jai Hind and bye, bye everyone. Thank you, Sushma ma'am. Thank you, Sunita ma'am. Thank you, Renu ma'am. Please fill up the reflection form before 6 o'clock today to get the certificates. If you have not received the certificate of the past, do message or mail us to sushmita@superteacher.in. The details will be coming on the chat. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jyoti ma'am. In case if there is any alteration required with the sessions, if any suggestions of topics are there, please put it on the reflection form. Thank you, Sai Jyoti ma'am. Thank you, Smithila Sheikh. Thank you. Uh, Kumla ma'am, it's like the bank right now is the best way to save money. There's no problem at all. You just have the money in the bank as much as possible, and go with a recognized bank rather than going with online bank. There are a lot of companies or banks that are coming online. A trusted bank to save a big amount of money is something very important. So go for a good bank and save the money. That's it. Just make sure you follow the precautions so that you're online. Another major disadvantage of QR payment and online transaction is, back in those days, whenever we spend some money, we know that we have spent that money. There is a sense of uh, responsibility out there. Oh my god, I took 3,000 rupees from the ATM last week, and again I'm in a position to take another 3,000 rupees. Automatically or subconsciously, you'll start feeling to cut down on your expenses. You'll start being more responsible while spending the money. But the moment QR transactions came into picture, it's like you don't even know where the money is going, and you're not able to keep a track of it, and that's like a threat. I hope you're able to understand. So that's one major disadvantage according to me. No scanner, which the vendors are giving to us, as a registered one or not. The moment you scan it using Google Pay or Paytm, uh, you need to use the app to scan it. See, sometimes what people do is they use cameras to scan it. I don't have the phone right now in front of me. So basically, for example, if you're doing a phone pay transaction, make sure you use phone pay ideally or Google Pay to scan the QR code. Do not use the camera to scan, or there are some scanner apps. Don't use those. If it is authentic, then the Google Pay transaction will happen. If it's not, then the Google Pay will throw an error that it's by a scammer or not authentic. I think that's the most secure way of doing it, especially the vegetable vendors. Yeah, it'll show. You're right. You're right. You'll get the certificate of this particular workshop in about 10 days. Okay, okay. Voice notification is a good idea, Sukhdira ma'am. Yeah. 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 Even me too, bank saving. But even if you believe in bank savings, even if you know that this is the most secure way of transacting, it's also important for you to know or have the knowledge of what's happening the other way. See, this session is just not to educate the teachers out there, but also to educate the students through you. Sometimes when you go to a particular place and if you're finding somebody not really practicing the right method of transacting, as a teacher you always have this instinct of giving gyan. It's like that. Let's give gyan over there as well. It's like that. Yeah. Great. Happy Sunday. Yeah, thank you, thank you. I know, Komla ma'am. Yes, you're right. Great. So let's talk about this further and in detailed manner in the next session. As of now, let's close the session. Thank you so much, teachers. Great interacting with one and all. Bye, everyone.